New Year tragedy at a Swiss ski resort. A fire in a bar kills dozens of people, with around 100 injured. Good afternoon. The cause of the devastating blaze at La Constellation bar hasn't been established, but witnesses say there was a panic as people rushed for the exit amid the New Year's celebrations. It happened in the ski resort town of Crans-Montana in the Valais region of Switzerland at around 1:30 this morning. Emily Wither reports.
It's around 1:30 a.m. and inside this New Year's Eve party you can see a glimpse of the deadly inferno as people try to escape the flames through the windows. In the words of the police, an evening of celebration turned into a nightmare. The night sky of this Swiss mountain resort lit up not in celebration, but in alarm. Nearby hospitals were quickly overwhelmed with the dead and injured. Dozens of people are thought to have been killed, but the police have warned it'll take time to identify them. And more than 100 people are injured, most of them seriously. The community in the heart of the Swiss Alps is in shock themselves.
I cannot hide it from you. We are shaken by what happened last night in Crans. On behalf of the command of the Valais Police, I extend my deepest sympathy to the victims and the families affected by this tragedy. I assure them of our support during this particularly dramatic and painful moment.
The police say it's too early to determine the cause of the fire, but right now don't believe it was a deliberate attack. Firefighters are describing the blaze as a flashover. It's when flames can trigger the release of combustible gases that can then ignite explosively.
Many gory scenes. There were many who were very strong, who stayed strong, and who understood that their life was in grave danger, but decided that mentally it was more important to stay calm.
This promotional film of the venue, La Constellation, shows a basement bar. It would have been packed with people on one of the busiest nights. It offers a clue as to how hard it would have been to escape. In a region busy with tourists skiing on the slopes, the authorities have called on people to avoid any accidents because they're already overwhelmed. This is a popular holiday resort and several nationalities are thought to be among the victims. There will be many painful days ahead.
Emily Wither there. Tens of thousands of people were left without power across Ukraine after Russia launched more than 200 strike drones during the night. Energy facilities, a train station and port infrastructure were all damaged. One man was killed and several others injured in separate attacks, while Ukraine said 2 more Patriot air defence systems had been deployed to protect civilians and critical infrastructure. Several people are said to have been killed during the social unrest in Iran, according to an activist group, after days of protests sparked clashes in several parts of the country. Footage which emerged on social media from the province of Fars claims to show shots being fired in the direction of crowds, while in the western city of Kudash, officials said a 21-year-old paramilitary volunteer had been killed in clashes amid the ongoing protests. It hasn't been possible to verify any of the claims. Here, new figures show almost 41,500 migrants arrived in the UK last year after crossing the English Channel. That's an increase of 13% on the figure for 2024, though it's still below the all-time high reported in 2022. It's believed at least 17 people died while attempting the crossing, though there's no official record of fatalities. Scotland is abolishing the not proven verdict from today, meaning juries will now have to find an accused person either guilty or not guilty. The killing of 19-year-old Amanda Duffy in 1992 led to a campaign by her parents to change the law. A jury returned a not proven verdict against the man accused of her murder, meaning he walked free and couldn't face another trial. Now, President Trump says he's removing the National Guard troops he deployed in 3 Democrat-led US cities. The deployments have faced many legal setbacks, including one by the Supreme Court just last week. But despite the U-turn, Mr. Trump warned that he would send them again when crime soars, declaring it's only a question of time. It comes as Zohran Mamdani was sworn in as the first Muslim mayor of New York. Francis Reed reports.
As the ball dropped in Times Square, New York was in New Year, New You mode in the shape of its new mayor. Sworn in on the stroke of midnight in a disused subway station beneath City Hall.
I,
Zohran Kwame Mamdani.
Zohran Kwame Mamdani.
Mamdani becomes the first Muslim to hold the office after a meteoric rise.
Happy New Year to New Yorkers, both inside this tunnel and above. And I cannot wait to see everyone tomorrow as we begin our term.
The real test will be whether his promises to tackle the cost of living in one of America's most expensive cities will actually come to fruition. The new year also ushers in an end to Obama-era subsidies, which will see health insurance for millions of Americans go up. On the opposite coast, in places like Los Angeles, the National Guard will be withdrawn from Democrat-run cities. The Supreme Court ruled they can't be used for domestic policing after Trump claimed it was necessary to crack down on crime and immigration. And a handful of African nations deciding they need to crack down and restrict Americans too. A tit-for-tat move after the US expanded its travel ban. And Venezuela celebrated despite more sanctions from the US targeting its oil, this time on ships that America claims aren't part of a shadow fleet, repeating its allegation that President Maduro is funding a narco-terrorism regime. Maduro choosing to remain upbeat, having denied the lot, and continuing to accuse the US of piracy and colonialism, and despite reports oil production is being impacted. 2026 will surely have the answer as to whether Trump's all talk or whether he really is gearing up for something larger with Venezuela. In Mar-a-Lago last night, this was his New Year's resolution.
Peace on earth.
It may be the ambition, but the path so far has been turbulent, and not even a year yet since he was sworn in.
Bulgaria has become the 21st country to adopt the euro as its currency. The replacement of the Bulgarian lev, which means lion, after 145 years, was celebrated by cheering crowds in Sofia, though polls suggest the population is actually split down the middle on the arrival of the euro. Enzo Maresca has left his job as Chelsea's head coach after relations with the club's board broke down. In a statement, Chelsea said they had parted company with Maresca and a change of leadership was the best chance of getting the season back on track. Chelsea have only managed to win 1 in 7 games. Our main news this afternoon. A fire in a crowded bar in the Swiss Alps has killed dozens of people and injured around 100 more, many of them seriously. Police still don't know what caused the blaze, which happened during New Year's celebrations in the resort town of Crans-Montana at about 1:30 in the morning. Teams of forensic officers are now at the scene. Well, that's all we have time for this afternoon. We're back at 7:10 tomorrow night, but we'll leave you with pictures of the celebrations in Edinburgh and London as the UK welcomed in 2026. Happy New Year from all of us. Clear